Welcome back to the final installment of the underrated classic albums. That's what I've been reading about for a long period of time. So let's get into Pete Rock and CL Smooth making the Soul Brother, 1992. That's the number one underrated classic album that I had in my book. I think it's a lot of reasons, but I felt it was the number one underrated classic album. I put it in my book. If you look at 1992, James Brown sample vocals used to exhaustion. Hip hop was looking for the next big thing. So here comes Pete Rock and CL Smooth to rescue to the rescue as the Soul Souls to combat the G Funk era of Dr. Dre that was prevalent in 1992. Pete Rock once said that hip hop changed around after Mecca and the Soul Brother was made. He did say that in a book called Check the Technique. You check it out. I think I still have that copy of that book in my Amazon Kindle. He said that things changed and turned around when Mecca and the Soul Brother came out. At that time, he said hip hop changed because of him and that album with him and CL Smooth. So it's rare for a producer to create their own signature sound, but include Pete Rock in that category. Pete Rock made others producers step up and make better beats. Yet you had DJ Premier, Ross Professor, RZA, Diamond D, producers of the early 90s era, but what set Pete Rock apart was the ability to create his own signature sound, whether it's horns being in the background of a record. The horns used by Pete Rock represented his signature sound. His musical staff was influential due to the producers that followed his production style, whether it was Kanye West, whether it was Ninth Wonder, to name a few. As for CL Smooth, he was no slouch as lyricist because his voice and lyrical delivery was the perfect match for Pete Rock's beats. That's why CL is the best to ever rap over Pete Rock track, because often compared to Gang Starr, Pete and CL could have been better than them. They didn't break up in 1995. Mecca and the Soul Brother was an album filled with 16 tracks. The first song off the album was They Reminisce Over You, which you can make a case as one of the top 10 songs of all time. About history, the song was inspired by the untimely death of Trouble T. Roy. Number one song on the Hot Rap Tracks chart. Then you had two songs that were hits, like Straighten It Out, that dealt with bootlegging and sample clearances. So the song reached number 7 on the same chart. Then Lots of Loving went to number 1 on the same chart. The album as a whole went to number 7 on the R&B hip hop charts. The album was released on June 9th, 1992. This album was a unique album in 92 because the dynamic duo Pete and CL brought a unique soulful sound to the genre of hip hop. That's what they did. You know what I'm saying? That album definitely underrated. I don't think it sold a lot of units. You know, it's very pioneering with what Pete Rock did. What CL Smooth was different. He didn't sound like anybody. He didn't curse. Didn't use any profanity. You know. So 92 was a great year in music. It's just that this album right here had to compete with the spotlight with other commercial releases like Dr. Dre and Snoop. You know, and the jazz rap niche, you know, the soulful roots of Pete Rock, the horns, samples, and Dusty Breaks were revolutionary. So it was very influential on other generations, new generations coming up after him to produce like he did. So these beats required more attentive ear compared to the high energy pouring anthems dominating the radio at the time. So this definitely was an underrated classic album. I don't think it sold any units. Like, I don't think it went platinum or gold. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think it's the most underrated album of all time. No doubt. I gotta put that at the top. At the top of the heap. Definitely. Different. Let's see, let me check and see before I close out. The Mecca and the Soul Brother. I'm gonna use this. Gold platinum. I think it did. Let's see. Think that's what I'm talking about. As great as that album was, Making a Soul Brother, it's a great album. I think it's underrated. Just on that alone, it didn't sell a gold or platinum status. It only sold 400,000 copies, according to the research. It's a very influential album. You know, released during the height of the G Funk explosion, that had to be the reason why it didn't sell. Think about it. Never went gold, never went platinum. Never. Sold only 400,000 copies. no platinum status. Because the sound of it, man, is just different. So it didn't go gold or platinum. Mecca and Soul Brothers. That's why I think that's the most underrated classic album. It was different. It influenced a lot of producers to make beats like him in that same vein as Pete Rock. And Pete Rock said that, man. In the book, Check the Technique, he talked about things turned around and changed around because of that album. He got a lot of point. Got a great point with that. He was different, Pete Rock. Pete Rock was doing things differently than other producers. He had his own signature sound. That's not easy to come up with your own signature sound. He's a copy of somebody else and imitate somebody, but he had his own sound. I'm quite sure Pete Rock was influenced by other producers, but he had his own sound of his own. That's not easy. So that's why I put Mecca and Soul Brother at number one, because the producer of Pete Rock, CL Smooth, his lyricism, he didn't curse, he didn't use any profanity. He was intelligent what he was talking about. The music side of things was different. The production was different. Everything about the album was different at that time. It was critically acclaimed, no doubt, in the streets, but it didn't translate to platinum status and gold status. Maybe because of bootlegging, maybe because of whatever reason. It didn't even blow up as it should have, because it had some hits. Lots of Loving. Straighten It Out. They were in this so view. You think that's gonna go gold, but it never did. I think it's underrated, especially during that G-Funk era, gangster rap. Overall, over the years, I think it's underrated. It's underrated. I think it is. Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Mecca and Soul Brother. Because it was different, man. It was different. You know what I'm saying? Like, they ain't sound like nobody. It was different from what was going on at the time. I just think that's an album that really was different. Like, I'm reading it right here. I may read this Check the Technique book down the line, but according to Pete Rock, in his book Check the Technique, about the great albums that came out back in the 80s and early 90s, mid-90s and stuff like that. In a quote, Mecca and Soul Brother is one of my great accomplishments. Beams Pete Rock on the phone from Green Street Studios in New York, where his classic debut had its genesis. He said when hip-hop was changed around, it started with that album. See? He has a right to say that. Mecca and Soul Brother. That's what makes it underrated even there in that way. Because it didn't change, it didn't sell a whole lot of units. It didn't blow up, it didn't go gold, it didn't go platinum. I don't think Pete Rock, when they were together, sold a lot of units. The main ingredient, I don't think that went gold or platinum. Despite the hits that they were making, the music's just incredible, but it didn't translate to platinum status. Hey, nobody's checking in. All right, so it's all good. As I said, I'm done. I'm gonna come back at 1:30 and start a new series, the other 50 underrated classic albums, because I wrote another book, the volume 2. We're gonna get into that shortly. So we're gonna go from number 51 to 100. Then that'll be it for that. Then I get some other type of content. So obviously, if you're not checking in right now, they check it out later. So check quickly. Did Pete Rock CL Smooth, the main green, did that go platinum? I don't think it did. Especially in '94, man. A lot of great stuff was out. Nas, Biggie, and all that. Let's see. Did it go platinum or gold? Nope. Their second album, that album didn't go gold or platinum. It didn't have that great success. Great album, but no platinum status, no gold. All right, talk to you soon. That concludes the end of the top 50 underrated classic albums. I had Pete Rock and CL Smooth, Mecca and Soul Brother as the most underrated classic album of all time. You can check it out later. It'll be on the channel. So, talk to you soon.